Welcome. We're making this call on behalf of City to City Europe, and it's our vision to see a movement of the gospel in the cities of Europe. And to that end, during this time, City to City doesn't believe that we want to be or can be a substitute for the local church, but we want to support local churches and leaders. So one of the many questions that people have right now have to do with doing ministry from a distance or digital ministry. So our topic today is digital discipleship, investing in others creatively during this time of lockdown, quarantine, and social distancing. I'm here with Daniel Bartz, the pastor of the Hamburg Projekt in Hamburg, Germany, and Tim Vreugdenhil, the pastor of CityKerk Amsterdam in Amsterdam, Netherlands. I'm not sure if I said your name correctly.
Sorry for my difficult last name, but you did a good try.
It was fun. It's great to have you both here.
Glad to be here.
You said before that you are convinced that church should and can be redefined, is what I've read about you. So you said this before the current crisis, but how does that desire connect to our current situation with corona quarantines and lockdown?
Well, the current situation first makes me very humble, because I learn day by day and hour by hour how difficult it is to redefine yourself, to adapt to a situation that is unusual, that's in some ways difficult. Kids have hanging around in your house all day long and so on. So the word redefined is easily written down than lived. And I think for the church situation, that's the same thing. Me and my colleagues are having quite a hard time to find out what works and what doesn't work. But I think in the end, it can be a blessing, this state of affairs, because we always fought against the idea of people being attracted to a specific church building or only to a Sunday gathering. And at once, it's not possible anymore. So that is the big opportunity of this week and the next weeks. What does it mean to be a church when it's not possible to come together?
Yeah, that's a really great thoughts, Daniel. You've given a lot of your life to building into the next generation of leaders, also thinking differently, just like Tim described. And you are known as a guy who spends a lot of life on lifetime. And a guy that goes to places and hangs out with people. What are some of the challenges when you're building into leaders in that way, that life on life way that you're facing right now in investing with people?
So first, I mean, you can't do life on life now, face to face. We just stopped that. We send all our staff to do home office, including all our leaders. We stopped all our small groups, all worship services. So we really trying hard to do our part and flatten the curve. And of course, then you don't have one-on-one meetings anymore. And I think it's not what. So answering your question, the challenge is not today. Now it's not how you handle your leaders or something. It's more like what you did in the past, like. If you coach your leaders well, if you train them well, if you raise them up as leaders, if you roast them up as leaders, they're doing a great job today. So today's a crisis, today's a challenge, and most of our leaders, they are doing a great job. I mean, I humbly, I must say, they're just helping out everywhere. They are coming up with new ideas and trying hard to, as a church, help us as a church to find new ideas, be innovative, and connect people with on the internet, on social media, whatever. So it's not what brings. I mean, it's not the crisis doesn't bring out all the leaders, but it's more like what you did before and how you trained them over the years. I must say.
Yeah, great. So you've been preparing for this and you didn't even know it. So
I mean, you prepare people all the time, but you don't know what for, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Or I'm forgetting or something. No, but
yeah, Tim. So what has your church and what of churches in your network have been doing to engage people, either digitally or otherwise, because of social distancing?
Yeah, basically we are figuring out two things now. First of all, we are challenging all the people we are in touch with to make their circle as small as it is, but be there. So take care for your neighbors. Take care for maybe a school kid in the house next to you, and so on. I think that's the first priority. And then secondly, we see that a lot of people are already tired of the constant stream of facts and numbers and economic crisis stories and so on. And that people are well, I would say literally hungry for something on the level of what we call faith, hope, and love. And we try to make all sorts of short comments and short stories and short videos, one topic a time, to inspire people to address all their friends and neighbors and also themselves on the level, the real spiritual level. That could be helpful in a situation like this.
What are some topics that you found that are, could be helpful for people right now?
I just finished a small article in which I borrow a sentence from the Archbishop of Canterbury out of the letter that he published yesterday. And he quoted the word of William Temple that the church is the only organization in the world that's specifically there for its non-members. And that's an intriguing thought. And I make some practical comments about this one-liner. And then there it goes on the internet.
That's really interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Daniel, there's maybe some people around you or some people around all of us who are saying, hey, let's just kind of wait and see. We don't really need to think about this time so much. There's no reason to try anything new. Let's just sort of ride it out at home and wait till it gets all over. Then we can kind of go back to normal. How would you respond to somebody like that?
I would probably just let them rest and wait and see, and I wouldn't really take them seriously. I think that's a pretty egoistic approach, totally, just for yourself, and you basically you don't care what about the elderly people, about others, about your neighbors. I think that's totally egoistic, but I would just let them. There are so many others. And you basically, so many others you find, Christians and non-Christians, who basically want to help and find new ways and be innovative for social engagement and in this totally fragmented world. So there are people. So I would just let them and find others who really want to help. And so that's what I do.
Yeah. So focus on those who are really interested in. Yeah, great. So with the, with the understanding of the gospel that you both have, how can we respond differently maybe than just the average person who is just maybe trying to help for their own reasons? How does the gospel motivate us differently?
So when I speak for myself, my first response would be that for me as a Christian, this is a very learning time that I'm in just the same position as everybody else. So I was too much naive and too much adjusted to all sorts of regular patterns. That's the first level. But on the second level, I realize almost hour by hour that these are the topics that we are talking about all the time. So I'm checking out what's really in my heart. What's there over that's sort of inscripted after all those years of talking and reading and preaching and so on. And then there are words and basic thoughts, and they're all centered around the gospel, I would say. That God is there, that God is taking care, that Jesus is the suffering Lord and knows how it feels in a situation like this. That's what's on my mind. And so my question to other Christians would be: don't read the next book or the next blog, but check out what's on your heart, and hopefully there are gospel elements in it. This is also time to grow, I think.
Yeah, Daniel, what's on your, okay, speaking of what's on your heart, what is on your heart for not only your church but just for, Europe? You have a desire to see Europe reach with the gospel. What's on your heart right now?
So I would underline what Tim just said, but a couple of weeks ago, we've preached about the gospel. We've preached about security, about control, and about how the gospel matches all that, how the gospel trumps all that. And but in the West, honestly, there was no reason really to really somehow to believe that or to fight it, because there wasn't a crisis, right? There wasn't a crisis really, which brought out the pressure on all these things, and now we can actually try, or we could basically see if our belief in the gospel really keeps their promises. For example, if we preach about if we preach about security, that Jesus is really securing us and nothing else, no money and in the world, and no power and no sex, whatever, but the real security is in Jesus. Today there's actually the time to believe that, or to believe it in a deeper way, and not go to the shop and buy it empty, but really trust in him that he will give you your daily bread today and tomorrow, that he secures you, or that he is in control, not you just because you're just buying everything to keep you safe, or you just in terms of you should stay at home, it's a shutdown, but you don't want to, so you are in control, you're leaving, you're ignoring it, you're meeting people. Oh, Jesus is in control, and he's in control of the whole world. So I think the crisis gives the gospel and the topics of the gospel new spin, and a more earnest spin, and that's a chance for us.
Mm-hmm.
So last thing, today I got a text from a neighbor down the street. She knows I'm a pastor. She hasn't been in church. As far as I'm concerned, she's not a Christian. But she sent a text, and hopefully she doesn't see that, but she sent a text with a prayer. So people are totally looking for some security now, for control. They are scared. There's panic, maybe even more in the coming days. And so our chance is to really preach it and preach it and preach it and point to Jesus, because he's the real security, and he has all control in his hands and all that. So yeah, that's on my heart.
Thank you. Those are really good words from you both, and thank you for taking these minutes to share from your own ministries and to encourage other leaders in Europe. And we can really trust in the gospel, and I'm really excited to be in this with other people who have that same hope. So you guys have encouraged me too. Thanks a lot.